Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer. Nick plays an Evacuation to return all creatures to their owner's hands. Amy controls Harmonic Prodigy and Dour Port-Mage. How many cards does Amy draw? Okay, so to answer this, we'll need to know a couple of specific facts about how triggered abilities work. Anytime anything happens in the game checks to see if what just happened matches the trigger condition of any triggered abilities. Then it decides how many times those abilities triggered. Now, based on that, it might seem like Amy is out of luck. Evacuation returns everything all at once, so immediately after that happens, Amy will not have any creatures with triggered abilities in play at all. Fortunately for Amy, she has an ace up her sleeve, in the form of this rule here. See, normally abilities trigger based on the game state and the objects that exist immediately after the trigger event happens. Some types of triggered abilities require special handling in order to function properly. And these abilities look back in time and trigger based on the game state that existed immediately before the trigger event happened. The reasons that this is needed is a little bit technical, so rather than try and cover them here, I'll refer you to my dedicated video on triggered abilities that look back in time. For now, let's just observe that some zone change abilities, including leaves the battlefield abilities, are among the special types of triggered abilities that can look back in time. Now, this means that the game will see both Dour Port-Mage and Harmonic Prodigy on the battlefield when it is determining whether Port-Mage's ability should trigger and how many times. Therefore, this ability will trigger twice and Amy will draw 2 cards. Let's consider what would happen if Amy also controlled some third creature while this was occurring. And this would make no difference at all in the results because Dour Port-Mage's ability triggers whenever one or more other creatures leaves the battlefield. Recall that Evac returns all the creatures at the same time as part of the same game event. The wording on DPM's ability means that whether one creature or 100 leave the battlefield at the same time, only one instance of this ability's trigger condition has happened. To get additional triggers, we would need to return the creatures in a sequence rather than all at once. So let's say that Nick used this withdraw to return Harmonic Prodigy and Dour Port-Mage to Amy's hand in that order. What happens? What if he returns the DPM first? And so first off, we'll observe that this is different because withdraw returns one creature, then it returns another creature. The word then indicates that these are two discrete game events happening one after the other. Immediately after the Harmonic Prodigy leaves the battlefield, the game sees that an event matching Dour Port-Mage's trigger condition has just occurred. And just like before, the game checks the game state immediately before this event to see whether the ability has triggered and how many times. Accordingly, this ability still triggers twice. On the other hand, if Nick chose the Dour Port-Mage as the target that gets returned first, well then immediately after it gets returned, the game will check to see if any triggered abilities have triggered. And the answer is no this time. Even though this ability can look back in time, the DPM only triggers whenever another creature leaves the battlefield. And then Harmonic Prodigy gets bounced. And immediately before this happened, Dour Port-Mage wasn't in play, so that doesn't cause its ability to trigger either. There are a lot of other interesting scenarios that might result from Nick returning varying numbers of other Dour Port-Mages and or Harmonic Prodigies in a sequence, but I'll leave discussion of which one might be the most interesting to the comments section. You should be able to puzzle your way through any such scenario with the core fundamentals covered in this episode. So that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.